that had so much strength to fight. Moore knew exactly what he was doing, using his size and experience on the rugby field to evade officers in a desperate struggle that threatened both the safety of officers and innocent members of the public. Whatever the level of force he used to displaying on the pitch, this was not a game. People's lives were in danger and an officer had to undergo surgery. I am satisfied now that Moore has been taken away from the society he posed a threat to. He is facing the consequences of his crimes. Very serious stuff.
It's just ludicrous, isn't it?
Part of me has some weird, misguided respect for the fact that the bloke was tasered 6 times and still was able to, like, almost grab the taser off the officers. But obviously, there's nothing to celebrate in what Scott Moore's done, and it makes me look a little bit negatively at the Bradford Bulls who employed him and made him the captain last season, because this was hanging over him at that time. We all
Yeah.
sort of knew. We alluded to it almost every week on the Super League pod. We all knew what was going on, and just to see the footage now emerge, it's shocking, really, and the story is just
I know, you can't believe it,
remarkable.
can you?
Have you? I mean, we've heard there's lots of stories at the moment. I'm reading the 100 Days That Shocked Rugby League book that Richard de la Riviere brought out, and I think this would be in there if he did a revised version for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like a novel, doesn't it? It doesn't quite feel like it's something realistic.
Yeah, and not someone that we've all seen. I mean, we've all seen him fuck up many times, haven't we? Let's face it. Um,
Yeah,
to be blunt about it, but he's someone we all know, and you watch that sort of footage, and it's kind of things that you see on police camera action, and you're not.
yeah,
It's not like it's always remote from your real existence, and this really brought it home. Going down
yeah.
roads that you've driven down, being a person you've seen like yards away from yourself on a rugby field, from the crowds at Wakefield in particular, you're practically on the pitch.
You are, yeah.
I
I'm actually
mean,
surprised. It feels like quite a lenient sentence given everything that he did.
well, I wonder if his driving disqualification comes in after he's come out of jail. I'm not sure. It seems weird that
Yeah,
otherwise he's banned for a month then, basically. Well,
yeah,
obviously he'll get the opportunity for parole and stuff within that 23-month sentence. But yeah, I think I lifted this most of this article from the Love Rugby League website. So thanks for them for reporting it so well, because that was quite a tale.
yeah.
Right, we're going to go on to some other tales now, and we're going to talk about the Super League matches from the weekend past. So we move on to the Super League match reviews. They are sponsored by Rob's Toy Shop on eBay. Find a wide range of toys, gifts, rugby league birthday cards, and more at Rob's Shop on eBay. Visit stores.ebay.co.uk/Rob's Toy Shop, or go to superleaguepod.com after the episode and see the link to that website. On any orders over £5, you can earn 5% cash back. You can also, within that, give 1% of your order value straight to the SLP coffers by putting in SLP discount at checkout. And if you want to give your full 5% cash back to SLP, you can do, because Rob at Rob's Toy Shop says all you need to do is send him a message when making your order, and he will make that donation to Super League Pod on your behalf. So, we're going through Super League round 5. There was an average attendance that landed bang on 9,000, which is the best average attendance for a weekend so far. So that's a good going. And the first game was Thursday night's. Great game, I thought. I really enjoyed it. So we're gonna go through it in detail. It was Leeds Rhinos 20, Hull FC 16, in front of just over 11,000 at the reduced capacity Headingley Stadium with the new sponsorship. That slips my mind. Robert Hicks was the referee. I'm sure we'll hear plenty about him as we go through the fan reviews.
So Ollie Smith says, really enjoyed this and would say best game of the season so far for me. Hull incredibly unfortunate on several decisions, but I think the rules were applied correctly on the most part. Still not a fan of the system though. My dislike for Ablett grows ever stronger.
I guess by system he means video referral system, and that links strongly back into Carl Ablett, who took a dive. Shoddy and Mungo said, FC shouldn't be too downcast about the result. They were on the wrong end of a couple of 50-50 calls, but could have nicked it at the end.
Neil McEwen, somebody, says, what have I just watched? Don't think I've ever seen a body referees give a team as many decisions as this game. Hull robbed tonight. This fucking awful man of the match system is a jerk as well. Can't believe all 4 candidates were from Leeds. Sky needs to stop going on about the fucking South Stand, plus Leeds should be forced to erect a roof over away end if they really want a world-class venue. Rant over. I agree with that one.
Everything.
Well, especially having a roof over the away fans.
Yeah, I don't. This. I've read stuff that says, oh, there's not enough space, but surely it's only the same as what Wakefield did to cover up there now where the home fans have decided to stand since they've got a roof now. Just
apparently
put 4 posts and a roof.
It's to do with planning because of the houses behind.
Right, so it'd shade their garden, wouldn't it? I suppose
something like that. Yeah.
Okay. At Brit_Renegade, he says, we know him better as the Electric Gigolo, of course. He says, typical winter rugby league game. Hull are an improving side, and at one stage the comeback was on. However, discipline let them down, allowing Leeds to get up the field with some relieving penalties. Myler is settling in well and worked well with Moon. As the warmer weather continues this will benefit Leeds' playing style, where you can see an offloading style of attack come in more. Hull are getting by the... I don't know what he means. Hull something this year.
I get the joy of Robert Hicks. I didn't really watch the match, no, we know. But to be honest, but I wanted to write in to say I think Hull FC fans on social media are fucking hilarious. What a bunch of whinging mongs.
I can't believe it was worked out that you've got all the swearing. Some people will be absolutely loving this. I apologise if you're offended by any of it.
Oh dear. Yeah, carefully arranged, wasn't it?
It was completely by chance. I just paste them into the thing in the order they come in. I promise. I apologise. Dirt Road Cowboy says, ref's fault. Black and Whites couldn't punch through at the end because Leeds was consistently well offside. I know everyone does it, but I'm a Hull supporter, damn it. The refs need to get some backbone. Very entertaining game as Hull's depleted side held up very well.
I get the old man.
Oh, he went with Swan.
No, he didn't swear. Joshua's granddad, otherwise known as my father, once more had to come away from Headingley with a feeling of why do we get stitched by officials every time we're here? He quoted that from me. Kendall trying to give Briscoe a try when foot so far in touch, almost in stand. When is an obstruction not an obstruction? Answer, when you're in a lead shirt. On the positives, a good debut by Jordan Lane, big performances by Massey and Fash, and welcome back Jack Lurgan.
Yeah, Mitchell Dart said, old mate ref certainly likes the video ref, but as long as it resulted in Leeds tries and Hull no tries, it's okay. Leeds are undefeated at the new Emerald Stadium. There you go, there's the naming rights covered.
Tim G Radio says, scrappy first half, livened up in the second. Good to see Fash get pinged for dissent. FC were lucky Hicks didn't get fed up with the back chat in the second half. Leeds' attack looked a bit stuttering but still effective.
Phil Nadin said, Hull started slow as usual and Leeds took full advantage of this. Leeds had everything under control in the first half with good defence and positive attack. Hull in the second half started a good comeback but just couldn't finish the game off. Just wish we could tackle properly all the time.
Paul Wilson at PMW777 said, thought Leeds edged it, but more important was the battle for dark art supremacy between Ablett and Connor. With less whining, a disallowed try and a perk in the eye, Ablett won the day. Both do spend an awful lot of the game chatting to each other. Aside from that, Matty Matonga is going to be some player.
Tyler Radder's lad said, ref's fault, RFL Mafia, injury crisis, win some, lose some, evens out over the season.
Dr. Bob says, Watkins is world class at last. Whatever demons or fears he had filling the boots of Sir Kev, JP and Dan E. Mag Y have gone. His timing and maturity in the assist for Briscoe's second was magnificent.
Watkins was absolutely world class in this game, I thought. Rich Langley said, "That's the definition of frustration, that game. Although the best side won on the night, having so many discussions going on about decisions made by the officials just puts the focus in the wrong place. Hull's young lads, again, didn't look out of place. I just hope Jez Litton gets a run soon so we can see if he does have the makings of a yeah mate too. Salford next Friday takes a much bigger significance now. Some sort... Constipated Amata Khan? I'm not sure."
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
No.
Rich Wilkinson says, solid win for the Rhinos, who are missing some grunt up front. Leeds were helped by the perennial ref's fault brigade as they had a fair few of their packing missing too. As a footnote, Hull got beat, so I'm guessing ref's fault is the order of the day. Myler is looking great and Watkins has fixed up his D and looking the part as captain. Garbutt and Mulally did enough up front and Parcell continues to be class. And then he points out his MOT's due.
Well, I didn't know they called it an MOT in Oz, but obviously, he needs to remind himself every week, doesn't he? So it must have run out by now.
Yeah, you get it sorted, Rich.
Loads of views then, but Sarah, we've got you on, and sadly it's not a Hull win, but I'm sure you've got lots of views yourself on this one. I suppose we should probably start where most other people have started and talk about the decisions by the match officials.
Yeah, it felt inconsistent, I think, the fact that 2 tries went up to the video ref, seemingly very similar for the obstructions, and one was given and one was disallowed. I mean, I've not actually watched the match back, so my comments are purely on Thursday night.
Well, your comments are pretty accurate in terms of that, I would say. That I think the Leeds one where there was potentially an obstruction, actually, maybe it was just more the amount of bodies were all quite close together and they pulled off a blinding move, to be completely honest, and I don't really think there was obstruction. But similarly with it was the Griffin try, wasn't it, that was ruled out just before half time. I don't think there was any obstruction in that too, so I can totally get why you agreed with that. A few people mentioned lots of decisions going against Hull. What other ones spring out to you? There was the disallowed.
There was a Jack Lurgan disallowed try.
Now that
for the offside. I mean, that was right at the far end, and the view we had of the big screen was very poor as well. So I couldn't make any call at all on it.
Yeah, they actually had one. Myler had one ruled out, or I'm not sure if Jones Buchanan scored, put it down in the end, but they had one ruled out for offside too. Did the Rhinos, and both of them were actually close calls. Now your one looked closer at the time, like live. I wasn't sure or not. And the Leeds one looked miles offside live at the time when Ryan Hall kicked it inside. But both of them were actually really, really close calls, and both correctly ruled out for offside, I would say. I mean, it would have been a great try, wouldn't it, if that Connor sort of instinctive kick had have come off, and also it would have been great for Logan, on his return to the side to play such a big role there. The other one that maybe, and I feel like it was just these 2 decisions, that obstruction try, no try, and this one early in the second half, there was a penalty given against the Hull defender. It was Griffin it was given against for walking across the Leeds attacker when he was going to compete for the ball, right in the far corner, I think it would have been, from where you were stood, probably, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
And that was they were the only...
Was that when Connor was going to take the quick tap and was pulled back for it?
It was, yeah. And
penalty, and it led to them scoring the try, didn't it?
Yeah, Watkins went in pretty soon after, and that was relatively poorly defended by the Hull side, really. But now on the replays, it did show that Griffin did make an intentional move into, I think it was Ryan Hall. It just wasn't much. There wasn't much in it, and it seemed really, really a harsh call. But because that kind of came after everyone at halftime spent the whole of halftime talking about was it an obstruction, or did Ablett take a bit of a dive, and what should have been given there and not. I think the whole swell of opinion then, to me, as a neutral was that Hull are getting done here
Yeah.
because it felt like a 12-point swing. So is that how it felt amongst the whole crowd?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because I remember saying to the person next to me,